So it's very, very kind of you to take a day off of work. No problem. I think everyone deserves a little work-life balance. I do have, some questions, since you're here. I don't normally do interviews. Is it true that you're really not scared of anything? There is one thing that I've never told anyone. Don't worry, this is a very safe place. Lathes. Lathes are absolutely terrifying. It's behind me, isn't it? Checkmate. Let's get started. So don't get me wrong, the 15L Slant Pro Lathe behind me is super safe, but out of all the tools in my shop, it definitely deserves the most respect. By the way, each and every piece you see here was made by the machine behind me, lathed out of solid aluminum and solid brass. I'll be giving away this exact chess set to one of you at the end of the video, as well as Tormach is giving away an XS Tech worth $4,000 to a lucky school. More on that at the end of the video. I'm going to show you what we use this Tormach 15L Slant Pro Lathe for, and exactly how this chess set was made. A lathe is basically a machine that can rotate a piece of material really fast, while other tools that are not rotating remove chunks of metal, also called subtractive manufacturing. The movement of the stationary tools are pre-programmed and can cut, shape, sand, knurl, and drill, with a pretty sweet-looking mechanical turret. We manufacture wheelchairs here at my company called Not a Wheelchair. I know it's a bit of a paradox, and our machines allow us to make our wheelchairs cheaper than anyone else can make theirs. With our cutting tools being stationary, it's easier to get super accurate and repeatable results for our light production runs. But with how fast this chuck is turning and rotating our heavy chunk of metal, it requires a very healthy measure of respect, since if that metal material slips out of the spinning chuck, it could end up pretty bad for the operator. Let's just say I'm glad this 15L Slant Pro has a metal enclosure, because big machines can unalive someone pretty quick if they aren't handled with respect. What you see in the machine now is our chess set's queen. Figured since she is the most powerful piece in chess, we can start with her first. The 4.5 inch by 1.5 inch diameter aluminum bar stock is cranked up to 2,500 RPM. It was faced off to make a flat, consistent surface, and roughing passes remove the outer layers to reveal her shape underneath. Before we started, we tightened up the material real good in the chuck, because if she slips out and goes flying, it would make David and Goliath look like they're playing patty cake. The automatic 8-position turret can rotate again to use a grooving or parting tool, which acts like a pizza slicer to separate our queen from the rest of the stock. We intentionally left the sweet little textures in the aluminum to differentiate it even more from the brass. The gold-colored brass looks pretty cool inside the machine. Normally you might think that when a drilling action is performed, the drill bit always has to be the thing that's rotating. But it turns out you can actually rotate the workpiece instead and get the same effect. I'll have to try that out next time I build a deck. Brass has a hardness level about the same as aluminum, a Mohs 3, so the speed of rotation and the tools are very similar. For reference, the carbide tool that's doing all of our cutting is a level 8 or 9 on Mohs scale of hardness and can easily cut into the softer materials. But it's interesting to note that the chips coming off of the shiny brass are more like sawdust instead of the long aluminum springs we saw earlier. It's cool seeing how different materials behave in different ways. Thumbs up for that. The Tormach can throw some pretty good looking chips. All of these shavings, of course, can be held and recycled later, since we actually do get paid for our used scrap metals. They're definitely worth keeping. The coolest part of this 15L Slant Pro Lathe, though, is its ability to jump right into lights out production mode. For example, like when we're making these ponds. We can feed material in through the side of the 15L Slant Pro, and the machine itself can pull the stock through the cullet automatically, using an easy puller which is also mounted to our 8-tool changer. Then the cullet can automatically close on the stock so the machine can make parts all on its own, without an operator having to set and position the bar stock each time. We can make all 8 of our ponds in one run with this machine, and even though these chest pieces were all pre-programmed in SolidWorks, Tormach's PathPilot desktop interface allows us to make adjustments or start or stop the program at any point in the process. It's nice that the same software runs the mill, the 15L, 8L, and desktop routers that Tormach makes. Now obviously here at Not a Wheelchair we don't make chessboards, but this beautiful chess set is just to show off the capabilities of the machine. We're going to be using the Slant Pro for prototyping, as well as to make these slightly less visually glamorous front caster mounts for our wheelchairs. The 6061 aluminum gets surfaced, counterbored with the drill bit, and then a boring tool is used to hollow out a cavity inside the 1.5" solid metal tube, which is anything but boring. We're going to use coolant this time around, which is always a good idea since coolant prolongs the life of your tools. It's just, harder to film when everything's wet. We do have to flip this caster mount over once during the program, so we can very accurately tap threads into the center of the stock. This would normally be a pretty difficult operation to freehand, but the 15L makes it easy. Machines like this are especially useful when we need to build a lot of wheelchairs really fast. There are about 3 million wheelchair users in the USA alone, and my goal here with Not a Wheelchair is to provide the least expensive custom manual wheelchairs on the planet. I don't make any money from the sale of these chairs, so if you want to help out, you can always grab one of my collector's coins, which are also made right here at our shop with our laser, notawheelchair.com/donate, and together we can make a big difference. And I'll make a full video on this machine later, but the wooden chessboard for this giveaway is also made right here in our shop with a Laguna IQ Pro CNC table, which can very accurately hollow out cavities in wood so we can inlay our laser cut aluminum and brass squares, which were also made here by us. We have a lot of cool tools. And there you have it. If a machine this large feels intimidating, like it did to me, Tormach does sell a much smaller desktop router called the XS Tech. The XS Tech is great for people who are just learning machining or just, want something small. I'll leave a link for that down in the description right next to the current pricing for this 15L Slant Pro. I'm feeling extremely generous today, so if you want to win this very custom, one-of-a-kind, priceless chess set made right here at my shop, there's another link in the description to Tormach's website where the entry form is located. Personally, I do have to get back to work, so thanks a ton for watching, and I'll see you around.